YouTube, this is SEL0320 representing JVS. I am back here again, grown out beard and all for now. It's an interesting coincidence, but I've just seen one of the most amazing movies this year, and I'm gonna be very quick with this because, as you can see, I'm in a totally different area. I'm actually back home in my very own home, uh, in Little Washington, North Carolina. Yeah, that's where I'm from. Anyway. Um, but I just saw The Revenant, and I have to say, this is Alejandro outdid himself. I mean, if you saw Birdman and then Michael Keaton's performance, Edward Norton's performances, like you're in for something amazing. Especially looking at the first panned out shot of the trailer, or even just the first screenshot of a rugged, worn down looking Leonardo DiCaprio that's playing Hugh Glass. But it exceeded the expectations that I already put up for it because the performances were just so powerful. But then the cinematography, y'all. I've never seen implications like this. I'm gonna go ahead and get it down to so as far as the locations that they went some of everywhere. There's places in Canada, Argentina, U.S. States, some of everywhere. But the scope of this, I think that they had said that basically Alejandro wanted to shoot certain small bits of it at a time instead of just setting it for a long drawn out. I'm not sure why he did that, but the results doesn't matter because the shots that they had in this movie are unlike anything I've ever seen before. The first off, from a cinematic level, to take somebody that is out of their comfort zone and have them just get attacked by Native Americans in the way that they filmed this, it was just so amazing because it was eye catching. There was never a point that I didn't see what was going on at a single period. Like they didn't miss a step, but at the same exact time they were able to pace through each character and give certain spotlight moments specifically for Tom Hardy or even for Will Brontal or even General Hux himself, Domhnall Gleeson, who plays the character Andrew Henry. But either way, it was just so amazing. I mean, I can't talk about all the different sequences, but the notable mentions specifically is the bear attack. Like, I literally was messed up after watching it. I actually had to hear a story about a bear. Actually, black bears are native to Beaufort County, which is actually near where I live at. And but the scope of how Leo got attacked by this bear and the way that it panned out, it was not easy to watch at all. Like, it was so hard to watch. But even like sequences when you're just seeing Hugh Glass or Leonardo DiCaprio's character trying to survive, and even like the capturings of certain moments where they use slow pacing and subtle gestures to show like a specific sequence, it was just executed perfectly. Even like there's one brought out sequence where Leo's coming out of something and he's looking around the horizon and he's seeing like these buffalo and they're just randomly there, and then one gets picked off by like some wolves. It's just eye catching. It's like I know they had to use drones and all different kind of things, but I have to give acknowledgement to the director in this one because Alejandro, like, he did something that I never thought was even possible in the scope level of this, from a cinematic level, and even the score. The score was so good that I was like, I haven't heard anything quite like this, because the pacing and the drums, and then just the small moments were scary, thought provoking, and at the same exact time beautiful. And that's the best way I can kind of put it because each sequence cinematically captured were just as beautiful as the score that was on the back fold of it. Now, this is the most amazing part about this is the performances. Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hardy will get nominations. Like, if they don't, there's something seriously wrong. Whether they win, that's a whole other thing. I think that out of all the performances I've seen this year, now, I want Johnny Depp to win. I'm not going to lie. But what Leo did in this character, Hugh Glass, there's not a lot of dialogue that he's doing, okay? But the grunts, the agony, the emotions, there are sequences that he does more acting in than other people that use strong dialogue and longed out scripts to be able to try to get to that level. He's just perfected his craft. Like, that's the best way I can kind of put it without spoiling anything. This is not a spoiler review. I'm not going to reveal anything to you about the character. If you want to read in history books, look in 1920s and who Hugh Glass was, and you'll find out. But it's just amazing to see the willingness of this character to do everything he can, not just to survive, but to go through great struggle, adversities. And it's like Leo's performance in every single sequence he just shines in it. To the first moment that we meet him, this humble kind of character, to just the grief-stricken one. And it's, gosh, this is crazy. Tom Hardy's character that plays John Fitzgerald, his character, even he was the antagonist. I can say that. He's the bad guy. But through his circumstances, if you start to find out what happened to him and you really listen, when you're in that movie theater, listen to what this man has kind of gone through as well. And you kind of see, yes, he's got pride, he's greedy, but what really brought him to that place is what makes him more of a better villain. Not just that, he knows how to handle himself very well. There's this one specific sequence towards the end where it's like a knife slash tomahawk fight sequence. I'm not gonna say between who, but it's one of the most deadliest ones I think I've seen in a minute because it feels fleshed out and it feels real. Even like Domhnall and Will Porter. Will Porter is playing a character named Jim Bridger, and their characters actually I really liked because it's like the circumstances that are happening are so real, especially for that time and era, specifically with the Native Americans and the land that was lost and everything that they were brought through. Even like utilizing of certain Native American tongue, French language, and then all these different kind of things that just acted so well. It was top notch. It's A. Okay. Now the story itself, it brings you into the world of Hugh Glass and his son, this half breed Native American. It's beautiful to watch the beginning of it to really grasp the weight of everything that really transpired through the suffering of Hugh Glass. Because through his suffering, you see those small, beautiful moments when, like, he's trying to survive and he sees somebody and he doesn't know whether or not to run, shoot, but he just kind of just collapses in just trying to beg for help, essentially. There are moments where you see a character like John Fitzgerald that is literally working his butt off, that gets basically in a sense screwed because it's like all the work that he did was for nothing. And I mean, it all centers around them trying to get these pelts or skins basically from animals to try to basically make a wage, a good living essentially. But something happens, and after that point, something happens to Hugh Glass, who technically is the person that's kind of leading them through this expedition of getting where they need to get, getting the pelts they need to get, because he's one of the best at this. But through after that point, when this action happens to him, specifically with this bear, and then a course of terrible events, is mind blowing. What everybody is going through, as well as the intersections of this Native American group that's kind of trying to survive at the same exact time. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people I haven't heard talk about. But that symmetry between the intersection of Hugh Glass's character and the Native Americans, and even his connection with his son, is so apparent that it was a deliberate usage of the parallels of the willingness to survive and something that has had everything taken from them, essentially. And that's what both this character and them has done. And I appreciated also them actually using real Native Americans and not just trying to like dumb it down to, like I've seen certain movies where they didn't actually cast like the actual race of the person that's actually going through it. And so I really appreciated that. But all around the story is just amazing. You just have to kind of watch it to see it. I'm not going to reveal anything all I can say is this definitely is a 10 out of 10. This is one of the better movies I've seen this year. Um, I can't say much more about it other than Alejandro, how did you get those shots, bro? Tell me, tell me. I have to buy this movie just to see the freaking behind the scenes, and not just that. How are you gonna go back and forth between Canada, Argentina, and all these different places in different segments, and not actually spend a long period of time doing them? How? You know? So either way, hopefully you enjoy this review, even though it's in a small, remote, crazy area. Um, for The Revenant, starring Leonardo DiCaprio. I really pray this man wins this year. I hope he does because it was a standout performance. He didn't have to say things to actually do some of the best acting he's ever done. And it's long overdue. It's long overdue. Either way, Revenant is one of my favorite films this year. Stay tuned for more. This is JVS SEO 0320 representing JVS. I'm out, y'all. Merry Christmas.